I'm school captain of Holy Cross High School, and this is Lucy Askin, who is vice captain. Tonight, we will be speaking to you about our school trip to Berlin in relation to the theme of Holocaust Memorial Day this year, Keep the Memory Alive. We gather here this evening to remember the atrocities committed during the Holocaust and the devastating loss of so many lives. But how does Germany, and Berlin in particular, as a country where this appalling event was planned and coordinated, remember its past?
The past can be a book to be enjoyed, a book that can give us the comfort of happy memories, the pride of victories, the excitement of an adventure, or inspiration from heroic tales and stories. But Holocaust history belongs in another book, a book that is uncomfortable and painful, yet no less important to read. The stories you will hear tonight are not enjoyable. They do not evoke happy memories. And yet, as our visit to Berlin proved, it is sometimes this book which we learn from most.
As part of our school's Advanced Higher History class this year, we arrived in Berlin in November, knowing all too well that history is a subject capable of evoking a plethora of emotions to an extent that no other subject is capable to. There is arguably no better city in the world in which to understand the sinister nature of recent human history. Chillingly, this was a city in which much of the Holocaust was planned.
During our trip, we visited the topography of terror, the former site of the SS and the secret state police headquarters during the Third Reich. This building, where Nazi officials and the brutal killing squads of the SS planned and directed the final solution, is now a museum focusing on the inhumane crimes committed during the Holocaust throughout Europe. As you walk through the exhibition, striking photographic material depicting different aspects of terror in relation to the SS are displayed in abundance. Few words are needed to accompany these.
We visited the memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe and walked through the dark, narrow gaps created between the labyrinth of 2,711 grey concrete pillars. The memorial was designed by the American architect Peter Eisenman and is intended to create an uneasy and confusing atmosphere. The whole structure representing a supposedly ordered system that has lost touch with human reason. Walking through the memorial, we experienced an uncomfortable feeling of loneliness and despair.
We visited the Jewish Museum, another complex structure where shape is used to try to convey a particular message and evoke particular emotions. The jagged, unsystematic architecture represents the impossibility of understanding the history of Berlin without taking into account the enormous contribution made by the Jewish people of the city. A line of voids, black, empty spaces, cut through the building in a linear fashion and symbolise the erasure and absence of Jewish life in Berlin today, and how the Holocaust reduced humanity to ashes and nothingness. We walked across a sea of thick, bronze metal faces, all identical, as if to show the loss of individuality and identification of the Jews, once captured by the Nazis and transported to the extermination camps.
Finally, we visited Sachsenhausen concentration camp, which during the Holocaust was used mainly for political prisoners and Soviet prisoners of war. The camp prison and some of the barracks, among other buildings, have been left untouched. Remnants of clothing, shoes, and personal belongings have been preserved as a display of honesty and respect to those who were imprisoned at Sachsenhausen during the Holocaust. Short stories describe the brutal treatment and torture of camp prisoners. A tall, stark memorial stands in the centre of the camp, towering over everything. It seems superior, almost showing how Germany has risen above its past and faced up to it, putting everything out into the open.
Our time on the trip got us thinking, how does a city with a recent history as turbulent and as shameful as Berlin move on from this dark past? From our experience, it is through memory. Concepts of memory, memorial statues and structures line Berlin in great numbers. Nothing is hidden, nothing is obscured, no information is withheld, and there are no secrets. Both Berlin's leftover reminders of the Holocaust and its modern memorials are out in the open, and the city protects them as a precious part of its history. Germany wholeheartedly tries to keep the memory alive, and regular reaction among tourists and visitors today, it awakens dark, sombre emotions in a moving, yet almost elevating and inspiring way.
And yet, what impressed us most about our visit to Berlin is the positivity that exists within the city today. It is a safe, liberal and welcoming city, noted for its tolerance rather than its intolerance. It possesses a diverse range of cultures, ages and nationalities. Groups of young people and German school children, just in trips just as we were, can always be seen. It was clear to us that this was a country facing up to its past, and not attempting to overcome or forget, but attempting only to remember and keep the memory of the Holocaust very much alive. Thank you.